The San Bernardino massacre coming as Americans are increasingly on edge, fearful of terror attacks. A new Quinnipiac University national poll taken before yesterday's slaughter, finding that 83% of voters say a terrorist attack killing numerous Americans is likely. Well, that same poll finding 61% of voters say the U.S. government's anti-terror policies have not gone far enough. Former Pennsylvania governor and former Secretary of Homeland Security, Governor Tom Ridge, goes on the record. Nice to see you, sir.
Good, nice to be with you.
So 61% of the population think President Obama's anti-terrorism policies not gone far enough. Are you in that 61%?
I'm part of it, absolutely. Plug me in. I mean, I think in order to combat an enemy, you have to recognize it as such. And we know for the past 7 years he's struggled with even the term global war on terror, let alone Islamic fundamentalists. So, yes, I think they're right. And I think there's an offensive way you deal with terrorism and a defensive way. I think America should understand that there are literally hundreds of thousands of men and women who go to work every day trying to keep America more secure from a defense point of view. There's some gaps. There always will be because democracies are soft targets by definition. But I think we need to be far more aggressive overseas.
What do you do about that? If there are two people sitting in a garage tonight building a bomb with legal materials tonight, what are you supposed to do? I mean, how is the government supposed to stop that? If it's homegrown, radical, anything?
I think that statement, people ought to embrace that notion and understand completely that not every attack is an intelligence failure. Not every attack is a condemnation of the men and women that go to work every day to try to keep us safe. And so we need to accept the reality of the 21st century. One, that America is doing everything we can to keep our streets and our communities safe, but that intelligence does have limits.
You know what? It may not be an intelligence failure, but in every single one of these attacks, when we go back and re-engineer what the person's life was like, we find out buying 5 pressure cookers at the store, and the store owner thinks, well, I did think it was a little weird. I mean, people aren't speaking up enough for weird things, so they're afraid that they're going to be called, racist, or afraid to be called some sort of some horrible bigot.
Yeah. Well, again, I think, Greta, you're onto something. We were asking people to be just a little bit more aware of the environment. Accept the reality that, unfortunately, democracies are soft targets. And if you see something unusual, something out of the ordinary, I mean, there have been reports that a neighbor saw several people congregating at night, loud noises, whatever. If nothing else, maybe they were a nuisance. Again, there's still a lot more information that needs to be generated before a final conclusion can be reached. I personally think this is a terrorist attack. I understand that the FBI has a specific definition. They're trying to plug all the information in. This is a terrorist attack. But I do think we understand the cold, hard reality is that there are limits to our ability to keep everybody safe everywhere all the time.
Well, according to that poll taken before yesterday, 83% think it was likely we were going to get a terror attack with lots of casualties. I guess 17% who didn't think are thinking differently tonight.
Well, you never diminish, Greta, the savagery, the horror, and the terror around an attack. But I do want, and I'm very careful when I say this, but we need to put it in perspective. This year there'll be over 10,000 people who die because they drank too much. There'll be probably 15 or 20,000 homicides. We do have a tendency to kill ourselves. So the threat of terrorism and these fundamentalists is real. It's severe. It's horrific. We got a great country. Most people are doing everything they possibly can to deal with it. But we just have to accept that reality. And maybe we just ask citizens to do, and you highlighted it a few moments ago, be a little bit more aware of your surroundings. And I think we got to call on them. Frankly, we've got to call on the Muslim community to pay a little bit more attention to what's going on in their communities, because it seems that the ideology has its roots in Islamic fundamentalism.
Governor, nice to see you.
My pleasure.